Hey guys, it's Uncle Jonah here. I'm back on the voyage of beer across the world, specifically Britain and Europe, although sometimes we go to America. And we're in Belgium today with a very unique style. And I got this beer for a couple of different reasons. As you well know, am Uncle Jonah. And this beer is Oncle Pol Cuvee, and it's a Flemish red. Um, and we've got delete or delight, and we do have some tasting notes. Where is the? There we go. Six. Oh, it's not going to focus. 6%. You have to trust Uncle Jonah on this. It says it down at the bottom here. Come on, dude. There we go. And this is from Warburg. Yeah, which is in Oostkamp, somewhere like that. Flemish, which is a place or a region, should I say, in Belgium, and it's got the tasting notes which are kind of unique compared to modern brewers, especially in the UK, but further abroad. So medium maltiness, medium hoppiness, a little bit of sour, and very little sweet. Even says the calories on there. 28 IBUs and 80 EBC. Wow, Chamon. And it's even got a picture of the dude on there, which is kind of cool. He's the uncle, you know. Who looks more like an uncle to you? This geezer or Uncle Jonah? Uncle Pol or Uncle Jonah? Flemish Red. Now, as some of you know, I really like Belgian beers, like really, really, because they kind of are totally different to everyone else in brewing, especially the Americans, who go ridiculously into kind of the chemistry and controlling everything in their brewing, whereas the Belgians, they just a lot of the time just let it go, and then what they get is what they get. It's a totally different way of doing it, and yeah, because I'm a bit kind of lazy, I kind of am more like the Belgian style. He says, dropping the cap on the floor. I love these bits. Oh, and this is, I don't know if you can see, it's a Gads brewery kind of tulip type glass. I thought that would be good for this beer. Wow, I thought it was going to be a lot more red. Flemish Bruin is obviously brown. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot more reddy. Right, I don't want it to over pour, so I'm leaving a tiny bit in the bottom. It'll be interesting to see. I'll pour that in. I'll give it a bit of a shake and wake. We'll see if we've got some, yeasties in there. So, definitely 2 fingers worth of head. The colour, for you guys, that's looking very dark brown. For me, I'm telling, and if I hold it up to the light a bit more, it's definitely a dark amber. Not red, though. Definitely not. It says red bruin. So, yeah, I can kind of see that. It is a reddish hue, and on the brown side. Oh, and we are getting those heady sherry type notes. Smells boozy. I mean, 6% is not that strong. Maybe some sort of apricot, maybe some raisins. Not quite as heavy as like some sort of Christmas pudding type thing, but definitely on that way. And obviously this is going to be reasonably sour, reasonably hoppy, and reasonably malty. No idea, because it doesn't say what kind of hops are in here. Cheers and beers. It's going to be really interesting, this one. Oh, yeah. that, that's really nice. That is almost sort of like a kettle sour kind of thing. But because it doesn't have fruit, as far as I know, this is all getting its sort of bitterness from the malts and the sugars, which is really, really interesting. It's kind of, I guess, a double, if it was a double sour, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the closest you'll get to the kind of Flanders style. Quite well carved, as the head does tell. It's really interesting. There's a little bit of kind of, yeah, there's a little bit of fruitiness in there, but coming from the malt and yeah, however they kind of sour it, I guess it's a house yeast, or maybe they leave it open in like a lambic style. I don't actually know. Really, really interesting though. And it doesn't have on the nose. It's got that kind of boozy kind of thing, like, oh dear, what have I let myself into? Definitely. But on the mouth, it doesn't have that because the sourness hides all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, really good. It's like a Flanders red, you know. It does have a bit of doughiness, a bit of breadiness, but it's all about how the yeast bacteria mix has caused that kind of sourness, which isn't heavy. It's not a ridiculous sourness. It's not like a barnyard at all. It's really nice and mellow. So this is definitely a sour, but not quite a lambic, if that makes sense. Interesting. Very nice. Very nice. And look, the label. This is so like Belgium. Look, even the label isn't straight because they did not give a fuck. Yeah, very interesting. Delete or delete. Really, really nice. I wonder how long they aged it for, because it does not give any details at all. What I should have done is scanned the code. At least, you know, they've got some kind of modern things. But I did not do that before this review. Perhaps I should have done. You know me, I do a lot of stuff on the fly, off the cuff. There we go. Get the last bit in. Oh yes, there's a lot of yeastiness in there. Oh, has that done anything to the colour? Not really. There's a tiny few kind of floaty bits there. Get the carbonation back up. Let all those yeast cells mix in. Has it changed it at all? Yeah, maybe a bit less fruity and more bready. Oh yeah, a bit more wholesome. Interesting. With all the sediment and the yeast mixed in, that all of a sudden ups it a little bit, and I am now getting kind of slightly barnyardy type things going on. So that's quite interesting. That's something to do, especially if you've got a small glass and are worried about overflowage. Yeah, leave some in and then swirl it up, put it back in, and you will definitely get a different kind of taste. There's the old gads. Look, we've got some lacing on that glass. Ooh. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. I think we're almost at 10 minutes. I'm going to leave it there. So one more swig. Oh, yeah, I'm going to have that last wee bit off camera. But guys, if you haven't done so already, I highly recommend trying some of the different styles in the Belgian beers, because it's a totally different way of looking at beers. It's not anything like the British style. It's not really like the American style, the German style. It's totally unique, and yeah, it brings forward some really, really interesting things. Anyway, goodbye from me. Goodbye from Uncle Pol. We'll see you for some more beer reviews real soon. Um, take care of yourselves, guys, and yeah, remember to drink some Belgian beers.